It happened this week. The passing of Phil Everly from pulmonary disease at age 74. As the younger half of the Everly Brothers, he helped to create rock and roll as we know it. The brothers' youthful harmonies charmed the generation that came of age in the 1950s and inspired many of the rock music greats that followed. An appreciation now from VH1's Bill Flanagan.
Don't want your love anymore.
That's Phil on the left, the fair-haired Everly brother.
That's for sure.
His brother Don survives him, but this marks the end of the Everly Brothers, one of the most important acts in the history of rock and roll.
Here he comes, that's Kathy's clown.
Country music was part of rock from the time Elvis walked into Sun Studios, but the Everlys introduced the high, lonesome harmony sound of traditional greats like the Louvin Brothers.
In the pines where the sun...
It is a straight line from the Everlys to Ricky Nelson, Linda Ronstadt, the Eagles,
And I got a peaceful, easy feel.
everything we call country rock comes from the Everlys. But that is not even their most important legacy. In the 50s, among the many teenagers who practiced being Everly Brothers in their bedrooms were two friends in Queens named Simon and Garfunkel and two kids from Liverpool named Lennon and McCartney.
There are places I remember all my life.
Dick Clark initially dismissed the Beatles as Everly Brothers imitators.
Bye-bye, love. Bye-bye, happiness.
And Paul McCartney said a few years ago that any time he starts to lose patience with an overbearing fan, he thinks back to how tongue-tied he and John Lennon were when they came face-to-face with the Everlys for the first time. The Everly Brothers were the Beatles' Beatles.
Wake up, little Susie, wake up.
When two singers from rock or country duet, they usually start with an Everly Brothers song.
All these many years I've loved.
Norah Jones and Billie Joe Armstrong of Green Day released a whole album of Everly Brothers covers.
Has ever known but you alone.
You can argue about whether the Everly's DNA is the most important part of rock and roll, but it is surely the sweetest.